Hi, I'm Callie from CRK Training, and welcome back to this week's blog video. So what we're going to talk about in today's video is actually an answer to a question that I've received from some students and also from some of you guys here on the blog. And that is, how can I tell when my horse is going to do something? How can I tell when he's going to spook or buck or bolt? Like, is there a warning sign? And this is kind of a hard question to answer, but I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm going to share with you, what I use and what I know in regards to this subject. So the first thing that I want to say about this is it can be tough, especially with spooks. Even if a horse is relaxed, if something suddenly moves or they notice something that they didn't see before, they can spook, and it can be pretty out of the blue. Trust me, I've been caught by surprise from spooks too, and many times. And it's just, horses are aware they're a prey animal, that's part of their instinct, and it's going to happen. It's something that you have to kind of accept a little bit if you're going to keep working with horses. There's going to be spooks, and they can be pretty tough to tell when they're coming sometimes. But then on the other hand, if your horse is tense, and that's what I'm going to focus on in this video, is showing you some of the signs of tension that are often overlooked. So if your horse is tense, he's going to be a lot more likely to spook at silly stuff, and he's going to be a lot more likely to buck or to, spook and run off and all those kind of stuff. So let me just start by going over some of that. So as you can see, Nell looks pretty relaxed here today. But where you see tension on a horse is, for one, this is probably the easiest place to see from the saddle, is the ears. So when you notice those ears getting stiff, doesn't matter if they're pricked stiff forward, when they get stiff kind of out to the side like this, and you can just see that they're just tight and they are like really rigid, that is a sign that a horse is stressed, that he's unhappy about something, or that he's on really high alert. So that's a pretty good sign. When you see that, you might want to try to redirect his attention, get his focus back on you. That means if you're riding, you might ask for a transition, you might put him in a little circle, anything to try to get his attention back. Now, another place that horses will hold a lot of stress is right here in their lower lip. So when you notice that lip getting super tight, that's another sign that he's stressed out and he's not real happy about something. One of the other things that you can tell, and this one's pretty easy to guess, but the eyes. So obviously right now she's got a really soft eye. She's almost falling asleep on us. But if you see a horse that's got his eyes wide open and you can even see that little bit of white around the edge, that's a pretty good sign that, again, he's on high alert and he's taken in everything he can with his senses, which means that he's more likely to spook or to bolt or to do something like that. Now, bucking, that's a little bit same sizes of tension as before, but there's another thing that you can use to tell if a buck is coming, and that is, before a horse bucks, they'll hump their back. And what I mean by that is they just kind of will do this, they'll just kind of curl their back up, and sometimes it can be very quick, that'll happen and almost right away they're in a buck. But normally that horse is a little bit tight through his back before that buck just happens out of the blue. So it could be, maybe something is pinching him, maybe your saddle doesn't fit quite right and he's tight because of that. Or it could be, maybe he doesn't like when you ask him to move forward off your leg. So when you put your leg on, he's kind of humping up like that. And that's something you just have to get used to feeling. And for someone that's been riding a lot, when we feel it, we know right away. But as a beginner, sometimes it's a little bit tougher to tell. So just get used to feeling when your horse is relaxed, get used to paying attention to how your horse feels under you, and then you're going to be able to feel when his back comes up and when he suddenly gets stiff. And normally when the back humps up, you'll see the ears get tight and everything kind of goes together. So those are the main things that I can tell you about being able to tell if your horse is going to spook or buck or bolt or anything. It's, like I said, it's not the easiest question for me to answer because sometimes it's not the easiest to tell. But same for all of them. When you tell your horse is getting tense, do something to get his attention back on you and to get him to relax. Those are the biggest things. So I hope that this video answered some of your questions. Hope that it gives you maybe some things that you weren't paying attention to or that you didn't quite think about, and you can help help you tell when that behavior is going to happen. So put in the comments, tell us, just tell us one time that you sensed a change in your horse, and then tell us what you did. If you got off, if you were able to fix it and kind of get their attention back from the saddle. I'd love to hear your little stories there, and I'll see you in the comments.